If you tolerate mistreatment, over-apologize, people-please, or ignore red flags, you lack self-respect. If you have trouble setting boundaries, you're saying yes when you mean no, you're letting other people's violate your emotional, physical, or time boundaries, you feel guilty for protecting your peace, asking for space, and you don't communicate your needs clearly, you lack self-respect. If you neglect your physical health, if you allow disrespect to your body, if you allow negative self-talk about your appearance and your worth, if you use substances or habits to numb the pain, you lack self-respect. If you do not charge adequately, so you're undercharging, or you're not setting financial goals, or if you're staying in toxic underpaying jobs, you lack self-respect. If your inner dialogue is full of self-hatred and harsh criticism, if it's full of minimizing your achievements, if it relies heavily on external validation, you lack self-respect. If you let others waste your time, if you overcommit or burn out, if you don't take time to rest, play, and reflect, you lack self-respect. And then spiritually, if you ignore your values and you're not spending time on spiritual growth and your connection with the divine, then you lack self-respect. But it's okay, because you can heal it. You don't have to continue to lack self-respect. The best way to heal this is to use the analogy of if this were someone I respected. So you ask yourself, for any situation you hit in life, if you were actually another person, like a guest that you respected, then would you tolerate mistreatment of that guest? Would you allow someone to verbally abuse them, manipulate them, or neglect them? No. Therefore, you don't allow it for yourself. If this was someone you respected, would you allow that person to be over-apologizing to other people? No. Would you have your guests who you respect people-pleasing these other people? No. Would you ignore the red flags, or would you cut off people who are toxic from that person, right? If this were someone you respected, would you say yes to them and loan them out, not respecting their time, saying yes to whatever is being asked of them all the time? No, you would set boundaries. You would say, oh no, they're not going to be able to make this, they're not going to be able to do that, and you would respect their emotional, physical, and time boundaries, and you would make sure other people are respecting those boundaries as well. You would protect the peace of that person, and you would communicate the needs very clearly, and you would care about the needs of that person. In terms of the body, you would not neglect the physical health of that person. You would not allow someone to disrespect that person's body, and you would not talk to them negatively about their appearance or about their worth. You certainly wouldn't offer them substances, right, so that they can cope with life. If you really respected this person, if there was someone you respected, then you wouldn't keep them in some sort of toxic underpaying job situation. You wouldn't undercharge for their services or time, right? You would set proper financial goals for them if you're working in business with them. You see how when you think about it in terms of if this were someone else I respected, then it helps you to learn how to respect yourself. So pretend that you're actually caring for another person, even though your job is to care for yourself, and it will make more sense to you as to how you can respect yourself.